All right, go ahead.
Right, guys, in this video I want to go over the concept of keeping your arms long and deadlift and the importance of this. What a lot of people will do when they're trying to sort of use their lats in the deadlift, quote unquote, is they'll think about biasing into shoulder retraction and pulling their scapula back. And the reason why we don't want to do that in the deadlift is that that's going to minimize our reach down to the bar. Also, it's not the correct way to generate lat tightness, quote unquote. What I like to cue is having the shoulders down and back, so that that movement is called is shoulder depression. However, instead of thinking about pulling them back more so, you want to allow your arms to go into protraction, and then as you put yourself down into the bar, you just slightly just put your as you're kind of like wedging yourself into the bar and setting your hips, your lats are kind of automatically going to sort of brace for that impact. So what that kind of looks like when you're setting up for a deadlift is when you're pulling yourself into the bar. So this is the wrong way to do it. A lot of times people will get down into this position and sort of bunch up and go like this. And what that's doing is that's minimizing the length of their arms. If you look at that, just the difference when I'm just standing straight up, I'm doing this, with how much my arms are versus this, it's a pretty big difference. And so if I'm doing, instead of doing that, when we're thinking about keeping the arms long, what we want to do, I pull myself down into the bar as I wedge my hips, put them into position. I'm going to allow my shoulders to go into protraction, and then I just put my shoulders down and back towards my hips, but not cueing my shoulders to go back. I'm going to let them still stay down, and as I do that, my lats are automatically going to and start to work, because that's the only way you keep the bar close to you. You don't need to necessarily cue having your lats on. Just think about having those shoulders down towards your hips can be really helpful. One other thing to think about is sort of like pinkies up into the bar. I'll sort of allow for that shoulders depression and to go down and back. Again, it's not this movement, it's this movement. It's very slight. It's the same thing as if somebody was to tell you to stand up straight. So again, just how to do this properly again, just to reiterate. As I go down into the bar and I wedge, I'm going to allow my shoulders to protract a little bit, go forward. This is going to allow me to have a little bit more reach. And I'm just going to put my shoulders in this position down towards my hips. And then I'm going to push up the floor. My lats are automatically going to be on as a result of that. And all I have to focus on is not going to just leg pressing the floor away. If you can do this, it's going to allow you to basically have a lot more better leverage to be able to lift more weight more effectively. So if you guys have any questions with that, ask them down below. I might show some videos of myself and my clients doing this, and like how it looks like more in like a heavier work rate. It's like 10% of what I can do. But if you guys have any questions, just ask down below.
Okay, so for the second half of this video, I'm just going to show a couple examples. So number one, this is going to be my client Philip. He is super strong. This is actually his 310 kilo deadlift from his meet. This is a really excellent job of showing how to keep the arms long. If you look at how Philip, when he wedges into the bar and he grabs the bar with his hands, he's going to allow his shoulder blades to come forward like this, keeping them really long. Then as he locks into position and wedges, he's keeping his arms long in that position. The only thing that's changing is he is essentially pulling his shoulders a little bit down and back into that external rotation at the shoulder. And that's basically, everything's locked in. His lats aren't going to let the bar go away from you. From that point, you have a very good place to leg press the floor away from you and lean back and have a very strong deadlift. This is also going to be me doing my 705. You can see I'm doing basically the same thing. As I wedge down into the bar, I'm going to grab the bar, allow myself to go into protraction of my shoulders, and my arms are really, really, really long. Then they're locked in. excuse me. From that point, the shoulders are forward, but lats are still on. Things are tight. One thing that is also helpful here is don't over grip the bar. You should obviously think about grip the bar like relatively hard, but you shouldn't be like really trying to like tense anything up. Allow those arms to hang loose, and trust that your grip is just going to, you're going to grab the bar as hard as you need to keep the bar in your hands. You don't need to like think of tensing up your upper body to do that. That's not going to actually get the bar, holding your hands any easier. And oftentimes I see that people that have more bicep tears, especially with mixed grip, they tend to be more retracted with their scapula. So again, let me see if I have, let me look at Kyle. This is another one of my clients. He just figured this out. It's made a really big difference with how his deadlift has felt. Here we go. So you can see here, super long arms as he wedges it into, again, allowing his shoulders to go forward, and they're just locked in that position. Super long. One cue that's helpful here can be like protecting your armpits, but obviously keeping those arms long in that protracted position will really help. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, just ask in the comments down below.